Good morning. Today, we delve into a topic that demands our unwavering attention as journalists: the intricate and often opaque relationship between high level politics and powerful financial institutions. Our focus is Friedrich Merz, a prominent figure in German politics, and his significant past role at Blackrock. This isn't merely a biographical detail, it's a critical juncture where the lines between public service and private financial interests can become dangerously blurred. Understanding this connection is paramount for scrutinizing potential conflicts of interest that could fundamentally impact democratic governance and public trust in Germany. We must ask ourselves, what are the implications when a leading political figure, potentially a future chancellor, has such deep ties to the world's largest asset manager? This examination is not about personal attacks, but about upholding the principles of transparency and accountability that are the bedrock of a healthy democracy. It's about ensuring that political decisions are made solely in the public interest, free from the shadow of private gain. To fully grasp the significance of Merz's connection, we must first understand the entity itself, BlackRock. This is not just another investment firm. It is an unparalleled global financial behemoth. With trillions of dollars under management, BlackRock wields immense power, influencing economies, industries, and even governments across more than 100 countries. Its reach extends into nearly every major corporation worldwide through its vast investment portfolios. This scale grants BlackRock an extraordinary vantage point and leverage, making it a key player in shaping global financial markets and, by extension, global policy. When we speak of BlackRock, we are talking about a systemic force, an entity whose decisions can reverberate across entire nations. Therefore, any close association between such a powerful private actor and a leading political figure in Germany warrants intense scrutiny. The potential for influence, whether direct or indirect, is simply too great to ignore. Let's trace Friedrich Merz's career trajectory, which presents a fascinating yet concerning pattern of movement between the political and corporate spheres. From 1994 to 2009, he was a dedicated politician, serving as a member of the Bundestag and even leading the CDU-CSU parliamentary group. This was a period of direct public service. However, from 2009 to 2016, Merz transitioned into the business world, accumulating various supervisory board positions and working as a lawyer. This shift is not uncommon, but it sets the stage for what followed. Crucially, from 2016 to 2020, he took on the role of chairman of the supervisory board for Blackrock Germany. This was a high-profile position within a globally dominant financial institution. Then, in 2020, Merz made a decisive return to frontline politics, becoming the leader of the CDU and a candidate for chancellor. This cyclical movement raises fundamental questions about where loyalties lie and how experiences gained in one sector might influence decisions in another, particularly when the private sector entity is as powerful as BlackRock. Friedrich Merz's tenure as chairman of the supervisory board for BlackRock Germany was far from a ceremonial position. His responsibilities encompassed strategic leadership, representing the company's interests, extensive networking, and providing crucial consulting. These are roles that inherently involve shaping the direction and influence of a massive financial player within the German and European markets. Such a position grants unparalleled insight into the workings of the financial sector, access to key decision makers, and a deep understanding of the regulatory landscape. For a future political leader, this experience is often touted as an asset, providing valuable economic expertise. However, it simultaneously creates an office fraught with potential for conflicts of interest. The very nature of these responsibilities means that Merz was intimately involved in advancing BlackRock's agenda. The critical question for us and for the public is how this deep immersion in private financial interests can be reconciled with the impartial demands of public office. Friedrich Merz has consistently sought to address the concerns surrounding his Blackrock past, offering a clear narrative of distancing and justification. He emphasizes that he formally resigned from his position at Blackrock in December 2020, asserting that there are no active connections. Furthermore, Merz frequently argues that his extensive business experience, including his time at Blackrock, is not a liability but an invaluable asset. He suggests that this private sector background enriches political decision-making by providing a pragmatic understanding of economic realities. His core argument rests on the principle of strict separation, maintaining that he did not influence political decisions during his time at Blackrock, nor would his past role compromise his independence in future political office. While these arguments aim to reassure, they demand rigorous scrutiny. The mere act of resignation does not erase the knowledge, networks, or perspectives gained. We must critically assess whether such a separation is truly achievable or if the influence is more subtle yet equally potent. Despite Friedrich Merz's attempts to distance himself, a chorus of critical voices from across the political spectrum, civil society, and the media continues to raise profound concerns. The central accusation revolves around the potential for conflicts of interest, questioning the independence of a political leader with such deep ties to the world's largest asset manager. Critics argue that the sheer scale of BlackRock's influence means that even an indirect connection could sway policy decisions. There's a pervasive worry that Merz's past role could lead to a political agenda that disproportionately favors the financial sector, potentially at the expense of broader public interests. These concerns are not mere partisan attacks, they reflect a fundamental unease about the integrity of political decision-making. The question isn't just about explicit lobbying, but about the subtle biases, the ingrained perspectives, and the established networks that inevitably accompany such a high-level corporate position. We must amplify these critical voices and demand robust answers. Let's delve into specific policy areas where Friedrich Merz's past role at BlackRock could present significant conflicts of interest. Firstly, financial market regulation. Decisions concerning the oversight and regulation of asset managers directly impact BlackRock's business model and profitability. How would Merz, as a political leader, navigate proposals that might tighten regulations on the very industry he once represented? Would his decisions truly prioritize public protection over the interests of large financial players? Secondly, tax policy. The tax treatment of capital gains, corporate profits, and financial transactions profoundly affects the profitability of investment firms like BlackRock. Would a Merz-led government pursue tax reforms that primarily benefit the financial sector, potentially at the expense of other economic actors or public services? Finally, climate policy and ESG, environmental, social, and governance investing. BlackRock has positioned itself as a leader in sustainable investments, yet its involvement is not without controversy. Would a political agenda under Merz favor large investors' approaches to ESG, potentially overlooking more stringent environmental or social protections that might impact their portfolios? These are not hypothetical scenarios. They are concrete policy domains where the potential for compromised decision-making is very real. In any robust democracy, transparency is not merely a desirable trait, it is an absolute prerequisite for maintaining public trust and ensuring accountability. When it comes to the financial connections of politicians, this principle becomes even more critical. The public has an undeniable right to know the full extent of a leader's past and present financial ties, especially when those ties involve entities as powerful as BlackRock. To address the legitimate concerns surrounding Friedrich Merz, we must advocate for concrete measures. This includes the full disclosure of all income and holdings from his Blackrock period, providing a complete picture of his financial relationship with the firm. Furthermore, clear and enforceable regulations are needed to prevent conflicts of interest from arising in the first place. Regular, independent reporting on potential conflict situations is essential, and robust oversight by ethics commissions must be empowered to scrutinize and intervene when necessary. Without such transparency, the shadow of doubt will persist, eroding confidence in the integrity of our political system. When we examine Germany's approach to preventing conflicts of interest, it becomes clear that there is significant room for improvement, particularly when compared to international standards. In the United States, for instance, there are strict disclosure requirements and mandatory cooling-off periods for government officials transitioning from or to the private sector. Ethics officers play a crucial role in monitoring potential conflicts. At the EU level, transparency registers and comprehensive codes of conduct are in place for commissioners, often accompanied by mandatory cooling-off periods after leaving office designed to prevent undue influence. In contrast, Germany's rules of conduct for Bundestag members, while existing, are often perceived as less stringent and less comprehensive. The current framework leaves too much to individual discretion and lacks the robust, independent oversight seen elsewhere. Germany could significantly strengthen public confidence in the independence of its political decision-makers by adopting stricter international best practices, particularly regarding disclosure, cooling-off periods, and the powers of ethics bodies. In conclusion, the case of Friedrich Merz and Blackrock presents a complex challenge for German democracy. Merz's argumentation centers on his formal distancing from Blackrock and the assertion that his business experience is a strength, not a liability. He emphasizes a strict separation between his past corporate role and his current political aspirations. However, these justifications are met with legitimate skepticism. The sheer scale of Blackrock's influence and the nature of Merz's high-level involvement inevitably raise persistent questions about potential conflicts of interest. The core issue remains: how can we ensure that political decisions are made solely in the public interest, free from the subtle or overt influence of powerful private financial entities? Transparency is not just a buzzword. It is the indispensable key to navigating this challenge. It demands full disclosure, robust regulations, and independent oversight. The ongoing task for us as journalists and for society at large is to continuously and critically examine how expertise from the business sector can be utilized without compromising the fundamental independence and integrity of our political leadership.